In this video, we will do a quick skim of the syllabus. You should read the entire syllabus on your own. Okay, page 1, we have basic course information, instructor information, course description. We have our course level student learning outcomes. On page 2, we have our major course topics for the course. As you can see, there are 4 of them. I'll say a bit more about this towards the end of the video when we look at our schedule. And on page 3, we have information about Canvas, textbook, and communication. So the course has a Canvas site, and all course materials are in Canvas. No textbook required, everything is in Canvas. Communication. So there are a variety of ways we can communicate. I'll say more about this in a minute, but my preferred mode of communication is remind messaging. But of course there's email. We can make Zoom appointments, more on that in a moment. There's a forum in Canvas for asking questions, and that's a place where you can post questions, and I'll definitely respond to them there. And more on this in a moment. You're going to complete weekly check-ins. That's another place where we'll communicate. There is a whole communication tools and information page. If you were to click this link, it'll take you here. There's a whole page, basic information, my name, what I prefer to be called. Just Tanya is fine, no formalities required. Email address, where you would sign up for Remind. Once you have Remind, you'll just message me through that. My preferred mode of contact, information about signing up for Remind, information about class Remind announcements. I'm going to send them by Remind. Individual messages. I will occasionally send you messages through Canvas if I'm sending you a message when I'm looking at the grade center, like everyone who hasn't completed an assignment, I might send you a reminder through there just because it's easier. But if I have a message for you personally, I'll probably send it by Remind, assuming you have it. If you don't, I'll choose email. If it's a formal message for some reason, I'll send it by Canvas and Remind. If you need help with the material, there are lots of places where you can seek help. One of them is Remind. A bit of information about the Q&A discussion forum, and about Zoom conferencing. And I can't seem to scroll further, but there's an 8th section on what to do if you haven't received a response, which is follow up and try to get a response, perhaps by reaching out in some other way. Okay, back to the syllabus. So as I said, Remind messaging is my preferred mode of communication. You should get Remind right away. You can sign up for push notifications that you can receive on your phone or mobile device. You can get it by email. You can have it send you text messages. I recommend you get push notifications. I'm not going to send you a ton of messages. I will send at least 1 a week, typically a reminder to submit homework and check-ins each week, but you're not going to get a ton of messages. And you can also message me through Remind, which is how I prefer you get a hold of me. Okay, another way we can communicate is with Zoom. Zoom is for online video conferencing. So of course it has video chat. We can use our webcams and have a conversation, but we don't have to use our webcams. There's also a whiteboard function, a screen share function. So this is a really easy way to talk about the material, about a specific homework. So if you want to get help, you should reach out to schedule an appointment, and I will send you a link. You don't have to download anything, that you can just click on and we can have a Zoom conference. Let's see, academic integrity and code of conduct information is here. I have created a specific academic integrity information page for our class. If you click on this link, I'll pull it up here. So we've got an official course statement, the institution policy, some obvious like standards of academic honesty, and then there's course-specific information, right? So the whole course is open book, open notes, but what exactly does that mean? Well, it means you can use basically any resource that isn't another human being, that's not book or notes, obviously, and isn't a resource that you got by somehow getting access to an actual quiz or exam. I'm not sure how you would do that, but if you did, that would be a violation of academic integrity. So that's the open book, open notes policy. Then there's information about each kind of assignment and what kinds of academic integrity requirements apply to it. So homework, you'll be doing homework every week. That's open book, open notes. However, you can work with approved partners. Approved partner is just anyone you've told me you're working with. So if you know somebody else in the class and you plan on doing your homework together, that's fine, but you should tell me about it in advance. If you would like to find somebody to work with, I can help you find a partner. I'm sure there are other people who would like someone to work with. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I can help you find partners. The number one thing is that if you're working together on homework, your partnerships should be approved. When it comes to quizzes and the final exam, no working together with anyone. Open book, open notes, fine, but no working with anybody, and obviously no finding quiz questions and stuff from elsewhere, though again, I'm not sure how you would get that unless you're like a hacker or something. Okay, advice. Students often do worse on open book tests than closed book tests. One reason why might be that having access to the book and the internet and Google and all these resources feels like everything you'll need or like knowledge, but it's not. The kind of things we're going to do in this class require more than just memorizing and regurgitating information. You'll have to know how to do things. It can be helpful to have notes to fall back on or a reminder or a quick check on something. But when you sit down to take a quiz or the final exam, you should have already tested yourself and convinced yourself that you can do it without the book and the notes, and that's just there if you need it. And by open book and open notes, I also mean looking at your homework and the solutions to those. Or if you've taken a quiz, there's 2 attempts, and you can look at the solutions to your first attempt when you're taking the second attempt. But having the solutions to a practice quiz or the first attempt really isn't that much help unless you actually know how to do the kinds of questions that you'll be asked. So before you sit down to take a quiz, know that you're ready for it and that you can do what you're going to be asked to do. Okay, end of advice. Back to syllabus. Accommodation of disability. If you have any accommodations that you need me to be aware of, you should reach out as soon as you can. And if there's something that I can do to accommodate you, whether or not you have anything official written down, or even just in any case, like if there's something I can do to help you succeed in the course that seems pretty reasonable, let me know and maybe I can help. Okay, page 5, evaluation. What are you going to have to do in this class? Each week, you're going to complete a homework assignment. So there are going to be 7 homework assignments, and you can see that that's a pretty good chunk of the course. So 7 homework assignments, it's about 28% of what you'll do. There will be 8 quizzes. One of them is just a syllabus quiz, so 7 real quizzes. That's 42% of the course. And then there's a final exam. And last but not least, check-ins. Now there's a breakdown here that says how many of each thing you'll do. So you'll have an opportunity to check in each week. So there'll be 7 check-in opportunities, but you can miss up to 2 without penalty. In other words, only 5 of them will count. So you can earn 50 points by checking in. There's 1 check-in opportunity each week. A check-in is basically just answer a short question, which essentially amounts to how are you doing? There will be, as I said, 7 homework assignments. The homework will usually be broken up into parts, but each one will be worth 40 points. There will usually be approximately 40 questions, each question about worth 1 point. So 7 of those. As I said, there are 8 quizzes. One's a syllabus quiz. You'll take that soon. That's sort of the odd man out here. It's only worth 20 points. Every other quiz is worth 50 points. There's a final exam, and there will be 1 extra credit opportunity. Okay, final letter grade for the course, breakdown information here. Page 6, we have more information about each of those assignments. So more information about the homework, more information about check-ins, more information about quizzes, final exam, and the extra credit will be a course eval worth 20 extra credit points. So read that stuff. Late work policy. This is important to know about. So check-ins, late check-ins are not accepted. It's basically a timely thing. So you have an opportunity to check in once each week, and that's the only time. Once the week is passed, you check in for the next week. So there are no late check-ins. And you can miss up to 2 check-ins without penalty, though. They're super short and easy, and I'm not sure why you would miss them. If you're completing the homework, you should complete the check-ins with it. Homework and quizzes. Late homework and quizzes are not penalized if you submit it within 1 week of the due date. With rare exception, maybe I'll extend a due date. You should communicate with me if there's some issue here, but you should aim to complete your homework and quizzes by the due date, but it's fine if you're within 1 week afterwards. So as we'll see in a moment, all assignments are due each week, Fridays at 11:59 p.m. If you want to do all of your homework over the weekend and not during the week, then you can just count on always submitting it 2 days late because it's fine. I wouldn't let yourself always be a week behind because then you have no room to juggle. So aim to get stuff done as close to the due dates as possible. And then you decide where you need wiggle room. Page 7, attendance requirements and other important dates. So this is information about dropping and withdrawing from the course. You should be aware of the dates associated with that. Page 8, we have our course schedule and a kind of checklist here. So as you can see, there are four units again here, what we saw on page 2. How to read this schedule. So each row is a week. We are going to be covering the units at the same time instead of one after another in order. So for week 1, we're going to have a brief introduction to critical thinking. This is super short. We are going to introduce arguments and standards for evaluating arguments. And we're going to also introduce, essentially this section is all logic. This section is all about standards for evaluating arguments. Later in the course, we'll look at other kinds of standards other than strict logic for evaluating arguments. This is essentially scientific reasoning. We'll look at statistical reasoning, reasoning about probability, reasoning about causation. And in this section, as it continues, we'll look at cognitive biases and informal fallacies. I think that you'll find that working through the material in this way, where we go through multiple units at once and they all kind of sort of fit together and play together, will work out pretty well. So this gives you a sense of what we're doing each week. And here's a checklist, though Canvas is pretty easy to follow and you probably won't need a checklist. And the syllabus ends with syllabus quiz questions. You'll take a syllabus quiz on Canvas, and these are the same questions you will encounter in that quiz. Okay, that wraps things up.